Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a little mini haul to show you the books that I have received or purchased so far this year. I don't remember what order in which I got these, so I'm just going to go through them, you know, as I have them. So, first up is Keeper of the Lost Cities, Book 2, Book 4, 5, and 6. And they all just fell down. You noticed I did not include Book 3 because Book Outlet did not have them when I ordered all of these. So, oh, hold on. Woohoo! So as you probably know, this is a series that I'm doing a buddy read with my niece and nephew. So I am filming this at the end of February. I'm not sure when I'm going to post it. I'm sorry. But we have finished the first book of the series, and they're actually visiting me soon, and they're going to be picking up all of these books. I bought 3 copies of each of these, by the way. Oh, how did I do that? Book Outlet. No, they're not sponsoring this video because they have no idea who I am. But I got them on Book Outlet. That's why I don't have Book 3, because they didn't have that available. And I got all of these for maybe like between $3 and $4 a piece. They're all in really good condition. I choose like the new condition. And the only thing wrong with this one is there's a little black line right there. I don't really care about that. The kids don't really care about that. So it's perfect. It's the perfect way to get some books for cheap. The only other thing about it too is these 2 books are paperback and these 2 books are hardback. So different format. But if you don't really care about that and you just want to get a book on the cheap, then I think that is definitely the way to go. I tend to buy, like go to Barnes & Noble and buy a hardback of a book that I know I'm going to love, or series that I love, or sometimes I just feel like going on a book buying binge and just buy all the books. So I don't know why I just said any of that. So again, Keeper of Lost Cities, you're going to be hearing about this a lot on this channel this year, because my hope is that we're going to be reading it all through the year. But again, it goes, it's about Sophie Foster. She's a 13-year-old human. Well, she was raised by humans, and she comes to find out that she is actually an elf who has extraordinary telepathic powers, and it's following her journey in learning those powers and how to control them and how to use them in this brand new elfin world that she had no idea existed. She's learning the ways of the world, and or the elfin world, if you will. And we're trying to figure out why she is the way that she is, because she's a little bit different than everybody else. It's super interesting. The kids are really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really glad that we're doing it and that they're having fun as well. And it's not just all about me wanting to read a book with them. So, next book is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace, and I don't just have 1 copy, I have 2. I have 2 copies because I chose it with my book of the month, and then I got it in my owl crate like 3 weeks after, so that was fun. But this is basically about, if I can remember correctly, this is basically about a princess who has to learn or master this certain type of magic. I think it's like soul magic or something. And she has to go through a trial and she fails. So she has to flee, and then she befriends a pirate. And then there's mermaids and other things that happen. So, I mean, it sounded interesting enough for me to pick it as my book of the month book. So, I don't really know much more about this. I don't tend to know a whole lot about books, especially fantasy books, before I go into them, but it sounded interesting. I think this is a debut novel as well. So yeah, I picked up 2 copies. I think it's a good book, and I think someone else will enjoy it. I might give it away. I might donate it to a local school. I don't know. We'll see. I probably won't keep both copies though. The next book I'm going to share with you is Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. This was also one of my book of the month choices. Might have been the same month actually. Let me look. No, it wasn't. It's cool. This was my January book of the month, and this is about, let's see what her name is because I don't remember. I don't know how to pronounce it. Ximena, possibly. So we're gonna go Ximena. This is about, well, it's based in Bolivian folklore, I believe, and it is about Ximena, and she is basically the decoy princess for the Bolivian princess, possibly, and they have been overruled or taken over. I can't remember the word. Basically, I think the royal families are like forced out of the city because the person in charge, I can't think of words right now, he uses magic to chase them all away, and then he basically demands marriage to Zima's Condessa, which is the princess. So she has to go in the princess's place. She ends up being part of the rebellion, and she ends up spying and for the rebellion. And she, I believe, has some kind of magical powers as well, that she can weave stories through the stars, maybe? Let's look. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right? I'm sort of right. She has the ability to spin thread through moonlight. Hence the name Woven in Moonlight. So yeah, this sounds really interesting, and this has been in, like, I think this is the Fairy Loot. It's in Fairy Loot as well, so it's getting a lot of traction. I think people are pretty interested in this one. So yeah, this is one of my book of the month books. Next book I got was Scavenged the Stars by Tara Sim. I believe this is a debut novel as well. I got this in last month's Owl Crate, or February's, I don't know, one of the Owl Crate boxes. And this is basically a gender swapped retelling of The Count of Monte Cristo. I am not familiar with that story, so it sounds pretty cool though. But basically we follow our 2 main characters, where she is basically imprisoned on this ship, and the son is trying to find a cure for his sister, I believe. And so the female main character is trying to destroy the family, whereas the son obviously is trying to save the family, and then I'm sure they fall in love. I'm sure that's what happens. I don't know, I haven't read it yet. So I got that. It sounds pretty interesting. I mean, when you read the synopsis, it sounds interesting. How I describe it though probably doesn't sound interesting at all. But I'm starting to see this everywhere as well. It looks pretty interesting. I'll have to remember that I have it, because now that I'm reading, now that I've read the synopsis, I think that I might want to read this soon. So yeah, that's another one I got. And the last book I'm going to share with you is Ash Lords by Scott Reintgen. This is also another book of the month. I got this one in January as well. This is, if I remember correctly, it is kind of like a Hunger Games type scenario with phoenix horses. Let's see if I'm right. I'm right. So ever since the Ash Lords were gifted phoenix horses by their gods, they've raced them into battle on into battle on hunts and now at the world-renowned races. So elite riders from each clan or culture basically participate in these races in order to be champion. And you see in this story we follow 11 riders. They'll compete in the races. 3 of them have more to lose than the rest, and we just see what happens. So it sounded pretty interesting. I liked that it kind of had a Hunger Games element because I'm itching to reread that story. So but I don't have the book. Isn't that insane? Those should be in this haul. Wow. I might have to go change that soon. Anyway, they're not. Maybe in the next one. So yeah, this was part of Book of the Month, and it sounded interesting, so I chose it. So those are all the books that I hauled in some way or another so far this year. Let me know down in the comments below what books you've bought recently, as I'd like to know, and I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye!